So one thing you should learn about me, regardless if you ever learned anything else from this channel, is that I love Skittles. I absolutely love Skittles. Favorite candy of all time. And they're just gonna be sitting, off to the side. So don't mind any takes in between that might have some Skittles, We're just gonna ignore that. Hello and welcome to the Kerns Productions YouTube channel. I am so excited to finally be doing this. This has been on my to-do list for so long. It's been an idea for a while now, and I'm finally excited to just kind of be doing it and to be creating content like this. Now, previously on this channel was only like previous client work, and that's not gonna change. There's still gonna be previous client work so you can kind of see what my business is doing. However, there's going to be new content that is similar to this, me talking, and it's gonna be giving you a view of the different things that I'm doing between photo and video, and I'll be making content specific to my craft, which I love. Now here you're gonna get things like behind the scenes of photo shoots, how I shot and edited some of my favorite photos. You're gonna get photo and video challenges and me talking with other photographers and videographers and models and anybody creative about their craft, and that's one of the things I'm actually most excited about. Now, I'm still coming up with new ideas for this channel. I mean, it's brand new. I'm definitely gonna have some new ideas, but I do know that I want this to be a community. I don't want this to just be one-sided with me telling you things. I want this to be a community where we all are mutually growing in our own separate paths on photography or video or whatever it is you do. And I also want to be able to talk back to you all. So if you all have any ideas for things that you want to see on the channel or anything like that, let me know. Hit me up. I'm on social media. You can talk in the comments. I would love to hear from you and make this a back and forth conversation. So speaking of all that, this video is actually going to be the first episode in a new series. Well, actually, every series is new, being that this channel is just it doesn't matter. This is going to be the first episode of a series that I want to start called Pic-Tales. Not Pic-Tales, Pic-Tales. So basically, this is not an original idea to me. I actually got this idea from Peter McKinnon. Peter McKinnon, I mean, if you're on my channel for photography and video, you don't know who Peter McKinnon is, first of all, check him out after this is done, and then you'll kind of get like a grand idea of why I was inspired to kind of like do this. But basically, he started a series on his channel called Photo Stories, and it's basically where he or him and someone else talks about photos and specifically the stories behind the photos that they've taken. And I love the idea, and I want to incorporate that with more than just me and more than just photographers. So I kind of want to expand the idea, but for right now, this first episode, I want to talk about the 3 photos that are hanging behind me. So I want to talk about these photos a little bit and explain why I picked these photos to hang first in my office. Now, this wall of photos behind me is not going to forever be the same. These pictures are gonna change out, but there's a reason I specifically picked these 3 to be the first big prints that I ever printed. So we're gonna start with this photo right over here. Now, for those of you who don't live in Charlotte, this is a photo of the Intimidator roller coaster at Kerns. Kerns being our theme park that is now closed because of COVID. I hope they're closed. I'm assuming they're closed. I really hope they're still closed. That would be extremely irresponsible of them if they are not closed. But anyway, this photo was actually taken back, oh man, years ago, probably like 6 or 7 years ago when I first started getting into photography. This photo was taken with, actually, I can show you. This photo was taken, I mean, I don't think y'all are ready for this. This photo was taken with this, I don't even know what the name of this, it's a Fujifilm, but it's like 14 megapixel, let's see, do they even have, I don't even know what the name of this camera is. It's not, it looks like a DSLR, it's not a DSLR. This lens does not come off. This is on the lens. I mean, this is on the body. It's just one piece. I got this camera when I was in 10th grade, about to go into 11th grade, for $68 at the pawn shop. This was the first camera my parents ever got me, because they were like, we don't know if you're gonna be good at this, or if this is gonna be a good investment, or if it's even a good idea. So literally, they went and got me $68 camera that runs, literally it runs on AA batteries. There are no batteries in here, but it produced that photo because I'm not gonna lie, this is a pretty bad camera. It's not great, but this photo was actually taken when me, my brother, and my dad went to Kerns for the first time in what was like forever since I had been, and it was like a really great feeling. And this camera had a wrist strap that came along with it, so my smart brain's idea was like, I'm gonna try and sneak my camera into Kerns on roller coasters and like take pictures and stuff like that. I did it. The pictures aren't that great. They're not great, but I did it. But that was the first photo that I took before we even entered into the park, and so that photo just reminds me of family and a good time and a great day. And it's always been one of my favorite photos, just because that was at the very start of everything. Yet, it's still a great image. So on to photo number 2. This photo. So this photo is actually kind of funny. I like this photo a lot. This photo was taken, I can't remember what part of Florida, but my family took a trip to Florida. Maybe Orlando or Jacksonville. I can't remember. Honestly, I have no idea. But we took a trip and there was a Ferris wheel. We did not ride the Ferris wheel, but we walked past the Ferris wheel. And as the sun was going down, we were, down the street, and I was like, I want to go back and get a shot of that Ferris wheel. So me and my brother walked back up the street. We were down that way, and we walked all the way back up and then across the street. So we were standing across from it. And I knew that I wanted to get a long exposure shot. Problem is, if you know anything about photography, you need a tripod to shoot long exposure shots, because camera be too shaky to get all the fast motion. For those of you who don't know what long exposure is, it's to get all of like the lines. So basically you keep the lens open for a really long time, and then the lights go by and it captures all the light. Well, I didn't have a tripod because we weren't really planning on going out and taking pictures like this. We were just walking around. So I love this story. There was a curb, as there happened to be out in the wild. There was a curb. So I stood up on the curb, and I had my brother stand on like the actual street beneath me. And I used my brother's head as a tripod to keep my camera steady. And it was like 10 minutes of me trying to like capture cars going by, and he just stood there perfectly still. And like I used his tripod his head straight up as a tripod, and I got about probably 10 good images that I really liked, and then I stitched them together in Photoshop with the cars going by, and that was the result of that photo. So that photo is literally thanks to my brother and his head. It's kind of funny. Okay, and the last photo that I want to talk about today is the photo hanging right in there. Now, about 2.5 years ago, me and 3 of my friends went to California for an 8-day trip. We went to LA, San Diego, and San Francisco. It was a blast. We had a ton of fun. And this photo was actually taken on the way. We were on a boat, and we were doing, oh yes, I remember what we were doing. We were taking a boat trip out to the Alcatraz prison in order to tour it. Now, for those of you who don't really know, I'm gonna inform you that us black people, we don't really do prison tours. We like to stay away from the prisons, if you couldn't do that math and add that up. Yeah, so this was not my idea, but I was on a trip with some of my white friends, and so that was one of the tasks one of the things that they wanted to do. And so we were taking a tour of the Alcatraz prison. Also, side note, I saw like 3 black people the entire time, and this was like way pre-COVID. Like there was no restrictions. There were just straight up only like 3 black people, and one of them was working there. And I asked her, I was like, how often do you see us? And she was like, we don't come out here. And I was like, oh, okay. It's not just me. Okay. Yeah. Enough said. But anyway, on the way in between the shore and getting to the prison, we were on the boat and we were just chilling on the back, wind blowing through our hair. Well, wind blowing through their hair. I barely have hair for the wind to blow through. But we were, looking out, and all of a sudden, all of these smaller boats started like riding by our boat, and I was like, oh wow, that like looks pretty cool. And then I was like kind of noticing like the whole picture, and I was like, wow, this would be like an absolutely amazing picture. And I absolutely like remember the moment of like capturing this photo and looking down and being like, wow, I've never taken anything really this good, and I absolutely love this photo. So it's one of my favorite photos because it really reminds me of that trip, reminds me that Black people don't go into prisons to tour them. We just don't do that, and just reminds me of just a great overall time. I love California. I'm probably gonna end up living there one day, and so this photo is kind of just, it's the one also sitting right above my desk, kind of just to remind me as a glance of where I want my life to kind of end up and where I kind of want to be after a little while. So yeah, that's all for photo stories that I have today. We're gonna keep this going, and this is gonna be a consistent thing that we do every once in a while on the channel. I'm gonna be having people either call in or come in and talk about some of their photos and images or videos or whatever they do and tell their stories, because I just think that's such a fun thing to do, because you can see a photo, but if you know the story behind it and why it's important to that person, it becomes all that more impactful. And so that's just one of the things that I want to share and kind of help this community to grow. But that's all I've got for today. Be sure to like and subscribe. Please subscribe. I want to grow this community so big, and all I want to do is be informational and helpful and help other people in their photo and video and just in general creative journeys. So please subscribe, share this video with someone as we start this journey. If you know a photographer who is like, just starting, or maybe someone who's seasoned who maybe would want to come on the show and give some education and advice, no matter who it is, share this with someone so that we can start building this community. Be sure to follow me on social media. I post twice a day, different types of photography. I mean, I do family photography, portraits, I do all kinds of stuff. I mean, I do events, I do weddings, I do whatever. So be sure to follow me there for my day-to-day stuff, as well as, seeing all my work. And remember, keep creating and be yourself. I'll see you next time. I told her, man. Skittles, name better candy. I dare you. Oh, I'm gonna make some people mad right now. I don't like chocolate, at all. I like white chocolate. That's not technically chocolate, but yeah. Name a better candy. I'll wait.